My tablet says it's now streaming live on YouTube.
Okay. To my fellow members of council, to all the residents of Sumter County, South Carolina, and to each and every one who's been affected by the coronavirus, I just wanted to briefly say this. We have all been adjusting to a new normal. Since you are watching this county council meeting on YouTube, you understand that redefining social norms are going to be part of our lives for the time being. It's not easy, but that is the hand we've been dealt, and we will move forward with the business of Sumter County Council and Sumter County government in a safe and prudent manner, but we will move forward. You will notice that the majority of the members of council are participating in this meeting remotely via video conference because that is the safest place for them to be right now. I thank each one of them for their efforts. I am in council chambers with Councilman Eugene Baton at the Sumter County Courthouse with a bare minimum of staff, and we're all practicing social distancing measures. Budget season is upon us, and although the offices of Sumter County government are closed to the public, county government continues to function. All county departments have done their best to meet the needs of the general public in a safe way. If you ever have any questions, please visit Sumter County's website to find the phone number for the department you may need. That web address is www.sumtercountysc.org. For general questions, call 803-436-2102, and we will find out the answer to whatever question you may have. Let us remember to be patient with one another as we adjust to this new normal. We hope that the citizens of Sumter County will view our virtual county council meetings online, and remember we are here to serve you, and we won't forget our mission to move Sumter County forward. Thank you for your time. And now I wish to call the regular meeting of Sumter County to order. We're now in session. I'd like to recognize our participants. We have Councilman Chris Sumter, Councilman Artie Baker, Councilman Jimmy Byrd, Councilman Charles Edens, Councilwoman Vivian McGaney, Councilman Eugene Baton, and myself, Jim McCain. We also want to recognize those other participants that we have: County Administrator Gary Mixon, Assistant County Administrator Ms. Lorraine Dennis, County Attorney Mr. Jonathan Bryant, Ms. Helen Rudman from our staff, and Clerk to Council Ms. Mary Blanding. We'll now have an invocation from Councilwoman Vivian McGaney.
Thank you. Let us pray. Our kind Heavenly Father, we do acknowledge you as being the one in whom we live and have our being. We thank you for, we know that the earth is yours and the fullness thereof. We know that you are all knowing, you're all powerful, and you are everywhere. So we ask that you look down upon us with eyes of pity and a heart of compassion, and just touch those that are being affected by this pandemic, this coronavirus. We know that you know all things, and that you have the power to help us to accept your will. But we ask for healing for those who have been recently diagnosed, and we ask that you comfort those families who have lost loved ones. Let them know that earth has no sorrow, that you cannot heal. And as we go through this meeting, we ask that you give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that we will be able to address every item in your perfect way. These and all blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Please join me in stating the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the
The
flag
flag
of
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 the
the United
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 States
States of
of America,
America and to the republic for which it stands,
States,
one nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty
liberty,
and
justice
justice for all.
for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda. Mrs. Blanding, are there any changes to the agenda? Chair recognizes Mr. Baton. Mr. Baton moves that we approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Recognizes Mr. Artie Baker. Mr. Artie Baker seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting for Tuesday, March the 24th. Chair recognizes Mr. Charles Edens.
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
This is Mr. Artie Baker. It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve our minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The chair now recognizes Ms. Helen Rudman for rezoning request number 2001. Ms. Rudman.
Helen Rudman for planning staff. RZ 2001 Black River Road and Edens Road is a county request brought by County Council. This is to rezone 6 separate parcels from R15 to AC. There have been no changes to this request since second reading.
Are there any questions or discussions for Ms. Rudman? This is our third and final reading for this matter. May I have a motion to approve third reading?
Yeah, move for third reading.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we have third reading for rezoning request 20-01. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Third reading passes. Chair now recognizes Mr. Jonathan Bryan for first reading on ordinance 20-924.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, this ordinance is an ordinance to authorize the sale of about 0.9 acres of property on South Ginyard Parkway. Sarah Tiller Ford has presented an offer to purchase the property for $5,000. This was discussed some time ago in the Fiscal Tax and Property Committee, and the council then, the committee then indicated that it would accept that offer. Well, because it's property owned by the county, it has to be approved by 3 readings and a public hearing. And just for your recollection, we previously authorized the sale to another individual, but he never followed through and paid the money. So we're going to rescind the ordinance number 17872 to authorize the sale to the other individual. That's section 5 of this ordinance. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Bryan? May I have a motion to approve first reading? Mr. Baton,
Second.
is that Mr. Byrd?
I seconded it.
Okay, Artie Baker seconds it. It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve first reading of ordinance 2294. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes first reading. Mr. Bryan?
Mr. Chairman, members of council, we are now into old business. And so we're looking at ordinance 20-922, which is an ordinance to allow county council to meet by electronic means. Right now, we're operating under an emergency ordinance that was passed last month that allows us to meet electronically. But this ordinance, which will require 3 readings, will actually amend our code of ordinances so that in the future, if we have a reason or need to meet electronically, we may do so without having to pass an emergency ordinance. Yeah, looking through the ordinance earlier this afternoon, I was reminded that when this was drafted, it was done on the assumption that it would be done by speakerphone and so forth. And maybe that the technology has eclipsed the language of this. And so I'm open to suggestions regarding the actual manner of participating as it's set out in the current ordinance. We can do that between second and third reading if the members of the county council are of mind to use the Zoom platform instead of a conference telephone. We're glad to answer any questions.
Questions or comments for Mr. Bryant? Chair recognizes Mr. Edens.
Mr. Bryan, on the number one, where you say a conference call shall be arranged, can you just say a conference call or video?
We can make any number of changes in that regard to bring this ordinance into the current technology opportunities.
By just saying or video, would that encompass this Zoom stuff?
It's a good suggestion. I'd want to go through a thorough analysis, with all parts of it, but I can do that if you want.
Just something to, whatever you come up with to that effect,
Okay. Well, I'll come up with something before third reading and have a chance to look at it and examine it closely.
Any other questions or comments of Mr. Bryan? Then may I have a motion to approve second reading?
Approve second reading.
Chair recognizes Chris Sumter for making the motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Vivian McGaney, seconds the motion. Are there any questions or discussion? All in favor of passing second reading, please say aye. All opposed, do the same. 2922, second reading is passed. Mr. Bryan?
Mr. Chairman, members of council, next item under old business is ordinance 20-923, which is an ordinance to set aside the Boyles Pond Special Tax District. You may recall that back in 2018, the members of Boyles Pond wanted to establish a special tax district to assist with the collection of the horizontal property regime fees necessary to reconstruct the dam at Boyles Pond. Turns out, for any number of reasons, the construction is going to exceed the original budget, so they're going to abandon that effort altogether, which of course alleviates the need for the special tax district. So we've received a letter from Mr. Veach, the president of the Homeowners Association, asking that the special tax district be rescinded, and that's the purpose of ordinance number 20-923. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Bryan?
Wish to approve. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we have second reading on ordinance number 2923. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Second reading of ordinance 20-923 passes. Come down to committee reports. The Fiscal Tax and Property Committee did meet today, this afternoon at 5:30. All members were present. We received a interim preliminary budget report from County Administrator Mr. Gary Mixon and Interim Finance Manager Kelsey Andrews. No action was taken. That concludes my report. Chair now recognizes Ms. Mary Blandon, our clerk to council, for our monthly reports.
McCain, we have 3 items on our agenda for the committee report, monthly report. It's the sheriff's monthly report. It's in your packet, in your Dropbox as well. And we also have the schedule for the 2020 fiscal year budget, which Mr. Mixon gave earlier. And also there's a letter in your packet from SCDOT concerning a news release. And that's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Blanding. Mr. Nixon, do you have anything from the county administrator's report?
Mr. Chair, for point of order, if I could revert the chairman back to item number 2 under committee reports. If there's any other meetings or trainings from council members.
I'll get to that. Okay. Are there any reports from council members?
Yes, I had, if you notice, I have my hand up there. Just wanted to, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to try to share this on my screen. It is some information that I received from the COG, the Santa Ynez Regional Council of Government. And I know that, you know, we are still on lockdown. We don't know where this pandemic is going to lead us, but there are plans for trying to do some things for the children during the summer months. And I recognize that there are a lot of grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. And the Santa Ynez Regional Council of Governments has a program where they will support grandparents who are raising their kids. And I hope I don't lose my audio. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's called Seniors Raising Children Program, SRC. And it says, are you a grandparent who is the sole caregiver for children? The Senior Raising Children Program is here to help. Grandparents who are 55 years old and older may apply, and the children can be 18 and under. So if you know someone like that who is taking care of their grandchildren, or maybe other nieces, grandnieces, nephews, anybody that's, in that situation, this program might be able to help. The contact person is April Green at the COG, and she is the family caregiver advocate. And her phone number is 803-774-1978. And they will be glad to help. And they assist with things like tutoring, after school programs, summer camps for children, just to give these elderly or aging folks a break as being caregiver, just a little respite. So thank you for allowing me to share that.
Thank you, Councilwoman McGaney.
Okay.
Any other reports from any of our other council members? Seeing none, back to you, Mr. Mixon, and thank you for pointing that out to me.
Yes,
Sir,
thank
Mr.
you.
Chair.
Thank you.
Quickly, I would just like to take this opportunity to publicly thank County Council for their continued support of our county and our community during these difficult times with the pandemic. We will certainly work our way through this, but it's nice to know that we've got the support and backing of our County Council and that y'all are engaged in this entire process. Also like to take this opportunity to thank our first responders, our EMS staff, our sheriff department staff, and our firemen that are out there every day supporting our community, doing what they can, trying to keep us safe. And I'd ask that the public do what they can to help these individuals in our community to continue to do their work and to provide this very valuable service to our community during these difficult times. And certainly last but not least, I'd like to thank the rest of our county staff. As y'all know, we've been on a modified schedule. We've limited public access to our buildings, but we still continue to provide public service to our community. Our county offices are working every day on a good schedule, making sure that we're able to accomplish the tasks that are before us each and every day so that people can get the things done they need to get done in our community. So I certainly want to thank them and keep them in our prayers, and we'll get through this together and move forward. And certainly as more information is provided to us, we will use that information to determine when we would possibly get back on a regular schedule. But right now it's our intent to maintain this schedule at least for the next couple of weeks. And again, stay posted and we will keep you informed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mixon. We come now to where we would normally have public comment, but because of the way that we are currently having to conduct our meetings, public comment is suspended until May the 12th or until further notice. With that being said, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
It's been moved by Councilman Chris Sumter and seconded by Councilman Eugene Baton. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Be safe. Everyone be safe out there in public.